Welcome to this bonus episode of This May Be a Bad Idea. This podcast, it's a conversation on bravery. It tells the story of everyday people who faced what felt like the impossible and still bravely leaped into the unknown. I'm your host, Nicole Butts. Several weeks ago now, I had the good fortune to meet Shelly, one of the owners of Sula Cocktail Bar located on H Street Northeast. And when she found out I had a podcast, and even though I had just launched less than a week before, she still invited me to be a part of the Made by Her event they were doing. There, I was able to interview and meet 6 of the women makers and entrepreneurs that are betting on themselves and their passion for creation. To close out Women's History Month, I am releasing each interview as its own bonus episode. 6 days, 6 interviews. Today is the halfway point with the 4th interview. I still cannot believe my incredible fortune of having the opportunity to meet all of these incredible women and give them a platform to tell their stories. I hope you enjoy listening to this conversation just as much as I enjoyed having it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session at the Made by Her event at the Hall on H Street. I have my 4th interviewee here, my 4th maker who is joining me, and it's Natalie from Paper Crane and Lotus, which is jewelry and maybe other things we're about to find out. So, Natalie, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time before you left today. So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, for sure. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me, Nicole. Hello, my name is Natalie. I am 27 years old, and I have a small business called Paper Crane and Lotus, making handmade semi-fine jewelry. I'm also an art teacher. That's my day job.
Oh, fantastic.
And I teach high schoolers during the week. So,
high schooler.
yes, I teach high school.
We have one 8th grade teacher and a high school teacher.
Yes.
That is wowza. Okay, because high school teachers,
we get different.
Y'all get everything.
Yeah, we get everything.
You really get everything. Least with the little kids, you're like, oh, well, you're young still. But these people, you're like, are you an adult? Are you young? What are you doing? Like, how should I treat you?
Literally, every day, every single day, I'm just like, why? Who are you? Why are you doing this? It's a process, honestly.
But they see you and they appreciate you, I'm sure.
I would say 50% of the time. But yeah, they try.
I'm going to throw out a sports reference. You're batting 500. That is great. Batting 500 is literally everything. Everything. So, now, how did you decide to start your jewelry business? Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So actually, when I was 9 years old, I had leukemia. And as a way for, to pass the time or, some little R&R recreation, I did art therapy. But outside of that, I started playing with wire. Like a lot. And my mom, she bought me my first tools. My dad also had given me some of his tools. And so it just kind of started from there. I was making like little wire flowers. I was making a bracelet. I made a bracelet for my mom. But yeah, that's kind of how it started, really. And then one day, like I made so many things. My aunt, like she took them to her workplace and like people started buying from her. And I was so shook, if you will. I was just like, oh wow, I didn't realize that people would actually like, I was like a kid. And then in high school I had an opportunity to sell, and then during college I had many opportunities to sell, and then it just kind of was growing from there. And then I started doing markets and events, and yeah.
So if you ever think that you are too young to start doing your passion,
you're not.
You are not.
You're
Natalie. Not. Natalie knows that you just have to start. Like you just have to do the thing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You were 6 years old and you're like, I got my own money.
Hey,
you were Toys R Us like,
like this. I'm gonna buy like my little.
Everyone else is like, Mom, Dad. You're like, I
got my money.
I'm good.
I would have been the coolest 6 year. I guess I was the coolest like middle schooler, if you will.
Yeah,
but
you were the coolest middle schooler. Well, it sounds like you've already overcome so much in your life, yet you come out the other end stronger, wiser, kinder, just doing all the things. So in this endeavor, what has been your biggest challenge?
I think like one of the big things that I run into is actually like just having courage and confidence in myself, like because or the way that I price things. Because I get scared or I get anxious and like, oh, like people aren't gonna buy it if it's this price. And like before, I used to be like, oh, well, I can just take a couple of dollars off, like this and that. Like I actually did that. And you shouldn't do that. You should not do that.
No, 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 no.
You should price your stuff for what it's worth.
Yes. Yes.
Do I still have problems doing that? Yes, but you know, growing pains. You know, so like I would say that was kind of like the biggest thing. Sometimes it still kind of continues in a way, but I think I've gotten better.
Okay.
Just because like also with the rising price of metal these days,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
you know, so a lot of people, a lot of makers, especially in the jewelry industry, they're like, you know, they're freaking out. They're like, I don't even know how to sustain my business or keeping the prices fair anymore in order for me to get some of the profit. Personally, I'm also a bad numbers person.
Okay.
So I could not tell you in terms of profit what I've made over the years. But you know, I feel like when I do have a good number, I'm like, you know, I'm proud of myself still. But yeah, pricing is, you know, something, and like just having enough confidence to be like, yeah, I made this and it is worth like the price that it has, and like you should invest in it. So,
you know, it's interesting. So I went to a friend of mine was like, oh, we're going to this like jewelry party and jewelry event. And I thought it was going to be like super exclusive and all these other things. And we went. It was not super exclusive, but it was really interesting because the pieces that I bought, like, I'm like, I'm going to have the same piece as thousands of other people. So paying for things that are unique, I feel like it is worth it.
Yeah.
You should even charge more.
For sure. Yeah.
You should charge more because you're going to have an original, beautiful piece that was made with love.
Yeah.
That was made with someone in mind. Like, oh, someone out there is really going to love this. And you're going to get so many more compliments when you buy one of her pieces than you will if you buy it from anywhere else. I'm just going to throw that out there. Just going to throw that out there. It's going to happen. I'm buying a piece. I don't know when, but it's going to happen.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, and I think that's another thing that a lot of women in particular, made by her event, struggle with is valuing what we do and what we bring appropriately.
Yes. Yeah.
We tend to think that, oh, well, we know times are hard. We can do this, we can do that. But men don't do that. They don't do that. They don't do that. They're just like, I'm worth it. Worth it. So that is going to be our mantra.
Yes.
Worth it.
Worth it. Worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it. That is going to be the mantra. So in all of this, I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. You started when you were 6, but.
Oh, like, sorry, not 6, 6th grade.
6th grade.
Sorry, my bad. My bad.
No, you're the second person who started something when they were in 6th grade, and all I hear is the 6th part. And then I'm like, my daughter's almost 5. How did you start doing this in 6? But also, okay, having leukemia in 6th grade, like that, we'll unpack that later. We can
talk about the bravery years. Yeah.
Yes, the bravery that's required to experience that. But in all of this, have you ever thought that this may be a bad idea, what you're doing?
Oh man, you know, some days I'm like, I think this is great. And then there are some days like, yeah, no, I don't know. This might not be it. Because it's so like, I mean, also for somebody who has like anxiety and like mild depression, you know, it fluctuates all the time, you know, and it's just like, nah, no, this is probably not a good idea. Because it's like, because of the way that society is these days, it's like, oh yeah, like everything's, well, not that everything is quite stable at the moment, but you know, people are like, oh yeah, you should like go to college, you should get like a stable job and like this and that. And like that's not even that stable these days either. You know, but even like me doing like what I've been doing for even all this time, like some days I'm like, no, or like where I have a bad event, like I am in the negative, and it was just like, maybe I shouldn't even do this. I should just like stop. But then I have really good days where it's like, oh, like this was so worth it. Like, did you see that mom and daughter, they bought matching necklaces, or like, oh, these besties bought rings. I feel like that does make it worth it. So, I mean, for me, it fluctuates sometimes, but I am more on the level now that I do think that it's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, that is one thing that I know I struggle with. I think so many people struggle with, is the fact that life keeps life in.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what happens, no matter how good or a bad day you're having, no matter what you've chosen as your path, there are things that continue happening.
Yeah.
There's health, there's death, there's debt, there's all the things. And it's how do we process?
Yes.
And how do we, I'm not even going to say maintain a positive mindset, because sometimes I think that is anyone who knows me knows I'm a super positive person, but I also realize that sometimes you just have to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're like, this just may be a bad idea today, but you know what? Tomorrow it may be a good idea. And as long as the days that it's a good idea outnumber the days that it's a bad idea, I want to keep pushing. I want to keep stepping forward and working on it. So, all right. Last question for you, Natalie.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in like a year or two?
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I feel like obviously, I guess in a way, like I've always been pretty like business minded or entrepreneur minded. And like, I really hope from like a year or two that I can have my own business, having like a little maker space, maybe having a coffee shop attached to it, and just having a nice community, like us building things together, like hosting events like this, markets, and like just selling and like uplifting other brands and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like the dream goal there.
Her dream is to give back to other makers, to create safe spaces, to allow her abundance to bring others abundance. That's beautiful. Love it. Natalie, thank you so much for talking to me. And look, I told you weren't going to cry.
I know, but
just keep it positive. Keep it positive. But thank you so much for taking this time, for being vulnerable, for sitting down and talking with me, for staying a couple of extra minutes so you could.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. And go ahead and give everyone all your handles, all your things so they can find you.
Yes, of course. So thank you so much for listening, everyone. You can find me on Instagram at papercrane.lotus. I also have a website, www.papercraneandlotus.com. So yeah, come find me.
Yes, come find her. Everything is going to be, it's just gorgeous. I saw all the pieces. They're beautiful. You won't regret the decision. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I think that is it for now. I'll be back in a moment, but thank you again, Natalie. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this bonus episode. If you liked what you heard, please follow, like, leave a review, or subscribe. If you are doing a pop-up in the DMV and would like to have your makers discuss their journeys of bravery on the This May Be a Bad Idea podcast, reach out to @TMBBI podcast and let me know. Thank you. Bye.